Welcome back. Let's think about the seventh principle of economics. Governments can sometimes improve market outcomes. So many economists believe that the fundamental role of government in the economy, the necessary function of government, is to enforce property rights. Property rights are the ability of an individual to own and exercise control over scarce resources. Without property rights, people are less inclined to work, produce, invest, etc. The economy will not grow if everyone is using large amounts of their scarce resources to protect their property. So with property rights, markets tend to work relatively well. But the government may intervene in markets for two reasons. One is to improve efficiency of markets if the market has failed. Or the second is to promote equality. Maybe we just don't like the market's distribution of prosperity. So let's dive into these two reasons. So when there is a market failure, that means that markets have failed to allocate society's resources efficiently. We're not using them to their highest potential. In that case, governments can step in and improve efficiency. So what causes a market to fail? What causes markets to not use our resources to their highest and best use? Well, it's because something's keeping the price system from working. We're not coordinating well with each other. We can't hear the other folks in the market telling us how we should use those resources. So what causes the price system to fail? There are two reasons that we're going to think about. One is externalities, and the second is market power. So let's look at externalities first. An externality is when the production or consumption of a good affects bystanders. So think about it as like an Axe body spray can. So the buyer and seller of that Axe body spray voluntarily trade. They're both made better off by buying that can and using it. But we as bystanders, maybe we don't like the smell. What about the rest of us? That's the externality. This is a lot like pollution if you want to think about it that way. So what's the role of government when there are externalities? So the government should tax producers of a negative externality, the cost of that externality, and compensate those who are harmed. So if somebody buys a can of Axe body spray, overdoes it spraying themselves, walks into a room with the rest of us, the government should charge them and pay us for the fact that we have to smell it now. But the problem is, how much is that pollution worth? How much are we harmed by smelling somebody who put on a little too much fragrance today? And the flip side is also true. The government should subsidize producers of positive externalities. Groups of individuals, companies, etc., that do things that make bystanders, the rest of us, better off. So these could be tax credits for refurbishing rundown areas of town, etc. But once again, we're left with the problem of how much. The second reason that markets fail is market power, where we have a single buyer or seller, or maybe just a small group of buyers and sellers, that has substantial influence over market price. Examples of this would be utility companies. Does anybody like dealing with the power company? No. Why? Because they're a monopoly. They can dictate the price. We don't have much choice. So price is supposed to democratize economic activity. It requires many buyers and many sellers so that we all have a say. But in the case of market power, where there's only a single buyer or a single seller, then we don't all have a say anymore. So if the price system doesn't work because of externalities or market power, public policy may improve the efficiency of markets. It may help us get the most out of our scarce resources. But we should note that policy isn't perfect either. It has flaws and oftentimes unintended consequences. So if markets are working efficiently, the government may still step in because the outcome isn't desirable. So the government may step in to try and promote equality. So for example, markets may reward a combination of natural talent, skills, work ethic, and opportunity. But society is not happy with that distribution. So maybe the government steps in with programs to try and promote equality. But then we're back to the efficiency versus equality trade-off. Remember, markets usually work pretty well. Sometimes they can fail, or sometimes we're not happy with the distribution. In that case, governments can sometimes improve market outcomes. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.